Hello, Serge here for the back porch. Recently I talked about two brothers I taught, KK1, the older brother, and KK2, the younger brother. And we discussed, number one, what his issues was, the older brother, in too wide a stance and too big a turn and swinging inside out. Now, the younger brother, KK2, had a totally different issue. He had more setup issues, and one that was really not good at all. Could be bad in terms of possibly hurting himself. He had a really bad setup issue in terms of his head position at address, which when he addressed the ball, as you know, I've always stated that we want the head to be perpendicular to the shoulders and have just two perfect squares here. So your head just goes straight up and down your spine. Well, the younger brother got up, and when he started to address the ball, he cocked his back knee in, had his right foot, his back foot, he's a right-hander, he had his right foot straight, cocked his knee in, and he cocked his head this way, quite severely. And so at address now, he's looking from here down that way to the ball, in front of the ball. And so conversely, what he was very preloaded, heavy left or forward, okay? And that just left him to, as soon as he swung, he was just reverse tilting tremendously. Now, the issue with this setup, especially from the head position, is when you're standing straight up and your head's in line with your spine and conversely perpendicular to your shoulders, all the muscles from the neck, back down the neck, into the shoulders and down into your arms and your lower, into your back muscles are dynamically balanced. As soon as you do this, you've stretched all the right side of the muscles and contracted the left side. And that also does what? That tightens up all the muscles in the shoulders and in the left side, and you're totally out of balance. So now when you're in this position, and it's going to be difficult to lift the club up, because if you start lifting the club at all, you're going to be tilting even worse. So many times these players, because they go like that and they're going to be falling down, they tend to start pulling the club a little bit inside. And then that causes you, instead of just falling down and forward that way, you'll eventually fall forward, maybe backwards. Either way, it's not good, because A, you're out of balance. The other big issue with this is you're looking at the ball the wrong way. Now, this younger brother, his big problem was he was just basically chopping down on the ball. I mean, he took some terribly deep divots. Many of them got to the point where the club was basically almost stuck in the ground, and he's trying to jerk the club out of the ground. And after he hits a couple of those, and when he was doing that, being so far in front, all his balls were going off. If this was swinging at the camera, they're just kind of like going over there. You know, some bit pop-ups and everything else, and then after 2 or 3 of those, then it's what? Come out of the shot and just hit a topper that rolls down the fairway. And so he had the two extremes, but the point was he was basically never finding the center of the golf ball in the center of the club face and hitting anything remotely decent to a good shallow divot, as we talk about it, nip the ball, because we don't swing down on the ball, we swing up to the finish. Well, he was all about down. He was down to the nth degree, and that's because the head's in this position and he's this way. And so it's pretty hard to swing up when you're already stuck forward. And again, as far as vision to the ball goes, when your head is cocked towards your forward shoulder and you're looking backwards, that basically, to me, I describe this as it opens up all of this back here, but it's like you got a wall right here. And so how can you go anywhere? Because your head's down and it's in the way. And so what we did is we had to get him up, get his head square, get him a little preloaded heavy right, and stand here. And now he's looking at this angle from the back of the ball. So he goes from that vision angle to this vision angle. And now when you get back here, what you've done is you've basically kind of closed this back, and now you've opened yourself up to what I like to call the sky. So now I can sit here and I can throw it, I can just swing up and stand up where I'm going to hit the ball up into the sky. All right? Here, you're set to hit the ball and pound it into the ground. And that certainly defies our concept of shallow divots, thin to win, you know, nip it, just have the club ricochet off the ground as I swing up and stand up to my tee finish. So basically, KK2 was in trouble because A, he was in a totally ill-balanced position. His body was out of dynamic balance, so there's no way he could make a dynamic balance swing, and he pretty much played golf in front of the ball. All right? Got him back here, got the head position here, and got him going like that, and naturally, when he was in this position, he had a tendency to hit it and fall back. Now, in a matter of just a couple swings, he's swinging through, coming up, pop-tarting, back foot's coming up, finishing with a good position, and having a good dynamic balance finish all the way to the end. And that was the big thing, to get up to here, recoil and relax. And it didn't take very long that he was starting to make really good, solid contacts. And the next thing you know, he's just hitting these beautiful divots that are just tearing the grass out of the ground, and he's starting to hit some dead straight shots out there. Basically, all I had to do was pretty much get him in a pretty good setup and just get him from ear to ear. And he started, in a matter of 5 or 10 swings, boom, the balls are just rocketing out there nice and straight. So many times how we look at the ball can cause big problems, especially if it takes our body out of dynamic balance. And even if you were just here and still look a little bit like this, you're still on the wrong side of the ball, and you still pretty much have this size closed off. That's why preloaded heavy right's important. We're already here, just lift and then just fire to the front to the finish. Okay? So if you're having some problems, just check where you're looking. It always helps you can use a shadow if the sun's out, or you can stand in front of a mirror or window or something and you can see your reflection, and check out your head positions relative to your spine. We always want that head and spine in line, and that you're looking at the ball, nose at the ball. Remember, we're big on nose at the ball, no cocking the head back, because that's just, looking out at the cocking your head this way is almost as bad as that. Okay? And so we want to just be here, head in line and spine with your spine, and looking straight at the ball, and so that you can feel like if you're going to skip a rock, just think about skipping a rock. You couldn't throw a rock in a lake from here, but you can skip beautiful rocks right out there for the shallow skips, and that ball will just skip a whole bunch of times. And so the same thing we want. We want to be hitting the ball here and swinging up to the sky, not chopping down to the ground. So think about swinging to the sky, and I think you're going to find you'll be able, if you've been taking deep divots, check your head position, your spine position, and think about those shallow divots and swing into the sky, and you're going to see that you'll start hitting it more solid and straight, get better loft on the shots, so it'll go farther. And with that, you'll be hitting it better, and you're shooting lower scores. Well, that's it from the search for today, and I'll be talking to you all again soon.